Welcome back to Hell with the Podcast. This is actually episode 18, unlike last week, but we hope everybody had a fantastic, wonderful Christmas. And Daryl, how was your Christmas? What did you guys do?
It was cool, man. It was low key. My youngest daughter went to go see my mom, and all of my family was in town from Cali and New Hampshire and just all the stuff. But I wasn't feeling great, so I was just like, you know what, it's cool. We literally sat on the couch watching ET and eating Chinese food. So it'd be like the lowest key white person Christmas ever. But that's what we did. It was it felt good to just kinda chill and not have to worry about it. Because usually we usually host. It was cool to, not have the wife, like, stressing out about everything, and because
Yeah.
that's what she usually does that. Yeah, man, we had a good time. It was and low key gifts. I got a new Kindle, and I got a new photo frame behind me. You guys won't really be able to see it, but, um I mean, we just God, it was super chill, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nah, it's great. I mean, I guess you could say ours was kind of low key. We went over to my wife's parents. We did have a rumble in the front yard. I forgot to tell you about that. We had a rumble in the front yard, and it was, I look back now, it was kind of funny, but at the moment, it was kind of like, I can't believe this just happened. So I was out there. It was me and my two older sons, and then my younger son. So if you don't know, we have a 28, a 22, and a 6 year old. And so we were out there playing football. And so our youngest wanted to be in the middle and play with us. So there were certain times I would say, hey, I'm going to hand the ball to him and just let him run, score a touchdown, whatever. So there was this one play where I handed him the ball, and then my oldest son was on my team, and it was my middle son on the other team, who's 22, and my oldest son, as my youngest is running down the field, my oldest son yells out, "Smack it out of his hands." So my middle son went, smacked it out of his hand, picked it up, and ran. Well, you just would have thought that that was the end of the world for my youngest because he was almost there to score. So he came running over to me, and I'm sitting there talking to him. And then my oldest son leans down and starts to talk to him about, hey, when you're running, you want to kind of try to protect the football, and you want to do this. But my youngest was so frustrated, he just reared back and pow right across his cheek. And so and so so then I had to deal with all of that. And then and I was talking to my middle son like, "Hey, you don't wanna play with your six-year-old brother like he's 20." So we had to have that conversation. Then I had to check, and the way my youngest hit my oldest son, it took his lip and it went into his tooth, so he had a little blood going on. And and then I had to go in, and I'm sitting there disciplining, talking to my youngest, and he looks at me and he goes, "But daddy, I punched through like the way you taught me to."
My
So so we had that happen for a few moments, and then later that night later that night, I sent, this over to my son, and I said, "Hey, listen," I said, "all he was doing was reenacting what happened 40 years ago today, and on this day, December 25th, 1985, I said, "He was just reenacting this."
my gosh, I love it.
And so he texted me back and go, "You
It
are
was on
hilarious."
Yep, it was on it was in Russia, yep, that's awesome, dude.
So, but it was because I had been teaching, whether it's right or wrong, but I heard this. I said, if you ever have to punch somebody, don't stop where you're punching. Do the follow through, follow all the way through. So he was very proud that he actually followed through when he, and I think that's why it hurt the way that it did. So, but no, we had a good Christmas in spite of the rumble we had out in the front yard.
That's great. Yeah,
So it
well,
was
yeah, so just a couple things. I got my Ozzy on the shelf for my daughter, if you can see the mic stand. And I got this Kindle. So I didn't know this was a thing. So if you have an Audible account, this new Kindle will like put all your stuff together. So it will show the text on the screen and the audiobook will read at the same time.
nice.
Well, usually when I go to the beach, I will buy the Audible book and I'll buy the Amazon text. And so now they're like one thing. I'm just like, oh my word. Okay, this is great. so yeah, I didn't get a lot of like, glitzy stuff for Christmas, but that was kind of like pretty cool. So my this is
Is
gonna
that the
look fun.
peanuts?
Yeah, so my oldest daughter,
That's
she
awesome.
was very proud of this. So this is a limited edition Peanuts, or excuse me, Charlie Brown soundtrack. This is one of my favorite pieces of music, like of all time. So she was very happy to give this to me, and I was very proud to receive it. I haven't cracked it yet. I'm probably going to today, but I played it. I have the whole thing on Spotify. But she's like, "I bought you something really cool, and you're gonna really like it." I was like, "Ah, yes, I do." So it was it was a super thoughtful gift from my oldest kid. So I
That's
was
great.
yeah, I was very. I'm like, dang, I don't even know if I want to open this because it looks really cool, and it's 180-gram vinyl, and I'm sure it's gonna sound amazing. But I'm just like, kind of want to put it on the shelf, and like, I don't know, I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You get those types of things, and it's just like, what do you want to do with them? Do you want to just
Yeah,
keep it in the package, or do you want to listen to it?
well, I mean, I had Rudolph cranking at like 6 in the morning yesterday. Because I woke up like super early, and there's a channel called Freeform, and they just have Christmas stuff like all day. It's not like the stupid. I can't stand the Christmas story. It's kind of cheesy. So they do all the Rankin Bass and all that kind of stuff. So I was literally watching Rudolph at like 6:15 yesterday, which I have no problem with at all. The house was still asleep and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was watching Christmas shows at 6 o'clock yesterday morning.
I tell you what,
No problem.
we watched some of our normal Christmas stuff that we normally do this time of year. Of course, me and the youngest, we were watching a Charlie Brown Christmas, and we watched Love Actually. We did watch Christmas Vacation, but I'll tell you, some of our normal stuff that we watched, it was that we normally watch this time of year, it's been hard to get into because when it's Christmas Day and you're outside and you're in a short sleeve shirt and shorts and you actually feel really warm, it's kind of hard to watch a movie with snow and all this other kind of stuff in it when you're like, it doesn't even, I know it's Christmas Day, but it doesn't feel like Christmas Day. So it's, so
Yeah, when it's
once it,
70 degrees outside, yeah, it's kind of hard to get into. I mean, we have a guy here doing some stuff for us this morning. I walked outside. Excuse me. I walked outside and it was like 72 degrees, and I'm like, I might want to live somewhere where there's snow sometimes. because our guy that comes over, he's Canadian, so he's like used to just a foot and a
Yeah,
half of snow. He's only living he hasn't lived in Georgia very long, but yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm just used to living in the spots where it's just snow the whole time.
right.
And I'm like, I wouldn't mind that. I don't want a foot and a half of snow, but I wouldn't mind like a couple inches.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you and I, we grew up, and it felt like every year we grew up, I was out of school. I mean, we lived in different counties, but I always felt like at least once a year, I was out of school for a day or two for a good snow when I was younger. But then when I got into my high school years, it was like, it might snow, it might not. And now I feel like it's once every few years, we'll get a decent snow.
Yeah. Well, climate change and all that.
Actually, it's the government mucking with the cloud seeding. So we can get into that another day.
That's yeah.
But no, today, if you listen to our not episode 18 earlier or last week, you know that we are going to be dissecting No More Hell to Pay today. We're going to rank it, we're going to go through it, we're going to discuss it. And one thing I do want to talk about before there's a hidden track, not a hidden track, but there's a track on the Japanese release that is not on the American release that I do want to talk about. But before we do that, I do have a couple of things from the news desk that came out this week that I do want to review real quick. So, first thing, just got to give them give the guys in the band a big congrats because it's to still be charting after 40 plus years on the Christian rock songs of 2025. Unforgivable from When We Were Kings ended up at number 13 and End of Days was at number 52. So getting up into the charts that high 40 plus years later. So great to me. That's
That's pretty crazy, actually.
because I mean, because so many bands they put out so many different things and they never even chart. They don't even hit the the eh, the any kind of chart really. I mean, I feel bad for. I mean, I shouldn't say I feel bad for them because the true fans of theirs are still listening to it. But you see all of these songs that they put out, and it talks about it. And hey, this talks about what where they charted at, and then you just see line on all of these songs, meaning none of these songs charted anywhere, but they just continuously put the music out, and that's what makes it cool about Stryper. When they do put something out, it's still charting. It's not charting number one, but it's charting. It's up there, and we talked about a couple of weeks ago where the greatest gift of all was charting on Christmas, just across the board on many different things.
Yeah, the Christmas records, I mean, I'm still kind of listening to it on the reg a little bit. Yeah, it is, and we'll get into this as we dig into this record, but I mean, I just feel like every time they put something out, it's like it's a very prepared, very produced piece of art. And so every time that I crack open a Stryper album, the bar is high.
Yeah, it is.
It's it, so I'm usually I have an expectation, and I'm usually never disappointed. Do I expect it to go to number one? Absolutely not. But I do expect a level of precision and musicianship and all those other things, and I'm usually not disappointed.
Well, speaking of setting the bar high and having that expectation, the other thing is this Michael Sweet posted yesterday that today He is off to record, speaking of Stryper albums, he's off to record the new Stryper album. And he's sitting there saying, what he said on this was that he says this on every album, but he believes that because they have, what he's saying is that they have some killer songs on it, and that he believes what he has heard so far, that this would be their best album to date. So, with that being said, that is starting to happen now. And again, I think they're probably looking at a release of next year. So we still got a little ways to go, but what they'll do, they'll get the album done, they'll get the production done, and then they'll probably drop a song or two before the actual album comes out if they follow what they normally do. But in 2026, we've got a new Stryper album to look forward to. We have the Michael Sweet inspirational album to look forward to. So far, what he has said is that that song, a song off of that's probably going to come out late January, early February. His first track on that expected to be released in April. So we got a couple of new albums coming out this upcoming year from Michael Sweet and from Stryper.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about. It's not. He didn't call it a worship album, so whatever. But I am really stoked to hear what that's going to sound like, because it's gonna be different, and it's not gonna be heavy. I don't think. But yeah, I'm I am very stoked to hear how that record is gonna what that record is gonna sound like.
Yeah, I would agree with you on the inspirational album. I don't think it's going to be heavy. If I recall, he said it was going to be Ambrosia, Eagles, that kind of feel to it, 70s vibe to it. He wrote
Love that.
it he wrote it during the COVID. That's when he did it. It sat on the shelf for a while. He needed to find the right venue to get it released, and Frontiers heard it. They're excited about the release. So I'm excited about it because, but if you're going into it, from what I've read, from what I've heard, don't expect your typical Michael Sweet solo album, like in the vein of 10 or One Sided War, whatever it might be. This is not going to be that type of album. It's going to be something different than what we've heard before.
Yeah, which is why I'm excited about it, because I know this guy can write like some definite. I mean, if you're a church kid, you know, you grow up listening to these songs,
Yeah.
but I think Mike could like write something very inspirational, but it's got a newer kind of vibe to it. So, and he might remake some of the stuff that we grew up listening to. I I don't know, but
Yeah. I don't,
I'm kind of excited to see what comes of this.
yeah, it's pretty cool to know that this album is coming out and you got two albums from them coming, or not from Stryper, but from him. But you just look at his songwriting, not just within the Stryper catalog, but in his catalog, the Sweet and Lynch catalog, the Soul Driver catalog. He is a very lyric when it comes to lyrics, he is a very, very solid songwriter when it comes to lyrics. Cause I mean, he can do, because I was listening, I was listening to this earlier this week, and maybe in a couple episodes, we'll cover this album when we go off topic of Stryper. But I was listening to the second album of Sweet and Lynch, and I was just sitting there going, this album is really good. Now, because we talked about the first one a few weeks ago, and now that I've listened to them both pretty close together, I was like really digging the second album, but we're not here to talk about Sweet and Ledge today. But just talking about how he is as a lyricist, I mean,
No, that's a solid statement. I mean, I was listening on our topic today, and I was just like, okay, there's there's a lot of stuff going on this record, and it's heavy, which
yeah,
I love it. It kind of reminded me of a little bit of a overall like Sammy Hagar kind of vibe. because he's got that skill in his back pocket, and I don't know. It's interesting because yeah, he's obviously a very gifted songwriter, and there's not a lot of dudes that can sing like he can sing. So
No, and
um,
I've got
having,
some. Go ahead.
I was just saying, having both of those things in your back pocket are pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's as I think, and before we jump over to start talking about the album, he did give a quick update this week on what's going on with his diagnosis. And so I don't know if you saw this or not, Daryl, but he went on to say that he did meet with his doctor and team, and apparently that he is a prime candidate for active surveillance. So what that means, he said in the statement, is that they're going to do an ultrasound in 6 months to see if there's been any change to the nodule in his right thyroid. He goes, it is malignant. Thank you. But the good news is, he said it's self contained and surrounded by healthy tissue, and that it's small enough that they feel that it makes more sense right now to keep an eye on it instead of rushing surgery. So the surgery has been put off, and in 6 months they're going to go back in and check it out, because he went on to say that the doctors feel that the surgery itself is more risky than the actual nodule itself. So at least for now. So he'll have the ultrasound, he says, in June and goes from there. And he's hoping and praying that the thing just disappears, maybe through diet, hope, and prayers that it will. So just continue to be lifting him up in regards to
Right.
what
Yeah.
regards to his health.
Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, and a lot of that stuff is attitude. All right, I'm in the spot. So, but again, a lot of it is attitude, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna get through this, and we'll be cool. And um, I feel like he has like that kind of mindset.
Yeah. And it's I'm glad to hear that it is where it's at. And it's just continue to keep them in prayer, folks. I mean, prayer is powerful, so just keep praying for him. I don't know if you would consider this good or bad news or not, but hey, the doctors are saying, hey, let's just keep an eye on it a little bit longer. So see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can keep a, if we're not cutting into you, then
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, that is exactly right. So, but that's what I had from the Striper news desk. And sorry, I was listening and talking, but I was thumbing through, I was looking for my No More Hell to Pay thing, and I usually have those here, but I forgot this particular one was in my big giant CD case that I still have of CD. And this is why I buy albums now. I can't read that anymore. It's too small. Look at this. How am I supposed to read the thank yous in this unless I got a magnifying glass with the reading glasses on? I'm just like, that's why that's why I have albums now instead of CDs, because I can actually read, but I still have to put on reading glasses to read the album notes and the lyrics in the album. But that's why that's why I have this. But as we jump into, we ready to do No More Hell to Pay?
Let's go.
Okay. Because the thing is, this album, as we get into No More Hell to Pay, this was released 12 years ago. This album is already 12 years old. It was released on November 5th, 2013. So it was the album after the Second Coming. And I know I've talked about this before, but they had those two tracks on Second Coming. And I was like, if this is the direction that Stryper is going in with their new album, this new album is going to be killer. Well, let me tell you, when this album came out, in my mind, it did not disappoint. When I heard it, I was just like, this is because we had Reborn, we had Murder by Pride, but this to me just set them off on the trajectory that they have been on since No More Hell to Pay, with their sound, with the heaviness of the albums. You get a little bit more. It seems like every album you get a little bit more of a Priest vibe in there. It's just instead of having more pop rock, which I always lean towards, I'll admit, but the heavy stuff that they have done on this album and since, it has been killer. And this album to me did not disappoint when it first came out.
Everything you said. Um, this album is heavy, and I was sitting here making my notes and whatnot, and I'm just like, this record, it's a metal record. And I was doing a little bit of research and whatnot, and there there's some stuff on like, and we'll get into it. I mean, Saved by Love, that song is ridiculous. But we also have a Doobie Brothers cover, and these are things I didn't know. That song was released in 1966, and it's been covered by the Birds. And I'm like, and well, and DC Talk, of course.
I was
But
about to say, don't forget them.
well, I didn't. I was looking at I was doing some research, and just like there's a ish ton of people that have covered that song, but I didn't know about it until the Doobie Brothers. So obviously, DC Talk. The whole thing is just it's really heavy, and
Unless,
just
let me say this, unless you have the Japan album. Now, if you, I want to talk about that before we get into the album itself. On the Japan album, the Japanese edition, they have First Love, an orchestral version of First Love. And I will say that that to me was a very good, beautiful rendition of that song. It's their song, they did it, but it's just got a completely different sound to it than what it was on Soldiers. And if you haven't heard it, I would say go listen to that. You can find it on YouTube. It was, to me, I sat there and listened to it and I was just like, this is a beautiful version of this song.
well, I want to put a link to that in the show notes
Yeah, we can
because
do that.
I was like, this doesn't sound like the same song. So yeah, it is a beautiful remake of, I mean, not a remake, but whatever. It's just something that I haven't heard before. So yeah, I'd love to put this in the show notes because I know a ton of people haven't heard this, and it's one of my favorite Stryper songs. But it's I've never heard this version before until yesterday. So yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah,
So
I heard it and it was just like, this is a beautiful, like I said, I was just taken aback the first time I heard this. And fortunately, somebody probably either had it imported or somebody in Japan uploaded it to YouTube. And it was, I'm glad they did because it, like I said, is just, I was just
well,
taken
it's
aback just sitting there listening to it.
well, yeah, it's on the import version of this record. So if you have the import, that version will be on the record. But yeah, I was pretty blown away because I never heard it before. Like I say, it's one of my favorite Stryper songs, and it didn't have that funky guitar solo that I love so much.
No, because that was the interesting thing about it because I was like, I wondered what you would think about this song because it didn't have the guitar on it. Because I know you have said before that that's like one of your favorite solos, and that's one of the reasons you really love that song. But I was wondering, I wonder what he thinks about this song without it having that solo in it.
Well, I mean, I'm always of the opinion if you can rearrange or reimagine a song, then go for it. That's cool. But yeah, this being one of my favorite songs was like, all right, I'm looking at this with a very critical eye. So, but I love the classical part of it, and it just yeah, it was they did a really good job of it. So I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it. It's just I didn't know it existed. So
Yeah,
so yeah,
but
it was really good.
when this album came out, going with it, uh, in its first week, this album debuted at number 35 on the Billboard 200 chart. It was the number 2 it was the number 2 top Christian album sold the same week. On other charts, it was the number 6 most sold album on the top rock albums chart, number 3 on the top hard rock albums, and it came out at number 6 on the independent albums chart. So,
It's not bad.
no, not to me, not for a band. And think about it at that point with this particular album, it was still kind of streaming was on its way up. CDs were on their way out in a sense from being the primary source of music listening to. So again, at this point, the band would have been almost 30 years old. Yeah, almost 30 when this album came out. And 30 years later, you're charting at number 35, number 2, number 6, number 3, and number 6 on on 5 different charts. And it got solid reviews across the board from mostly everybody.
That was the other thing that was interesting because I really hadn't looked at any of the like critical stuff, but when I started doing a little homework, I was like, man, people like this record, and I was like, yeah, I like this record because it. I mean, it's you and I go back and forth between the old school and new school, but to me, this was the heaviest of the new school, and not just musically but lyrically. There was some stuff on here today, and I had the cans on this morning just listening to stuff. Like there's some songs on here that are really hard lyrically.
Yeah, there are. This one, you look at the track listing again on this, and it's got one ballad, if you want to call the one a ballad.
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's and ballad is a it might be a ballad, but there's every song on here is pretty heavy.
And the thing I liked, and I will say this is just me. And I always have felt like 10, 10 songs on an album is too short. I always like to get 11 or 12 on an album, maybe 13, and even more if they do it that way. And that this album, again, not the Japanese edition, but with No More Hell to Pay, there were 12 tracks on this album. And again, listening to it, going through it this week, I'm thinking through, I don't think I'm skipping anything on this album.
No, I agree with you. There might be one skipper, but not not really. This whole thing to me, and not that I forgot this record, but I just haven't listened to it for a minute. But this thing is heavy to me, and it's like there's I don't think there's a skipper. There's a soft song on here, but there's only one. So it's like, yeah, you can listen to this whole thing, especially if you're a metalhead like me. There's there's no skippers.
Yeah. I don't think there are either. And with this album, I'm just doing a little research this week. This is what I pulled out. Now, I'm not saying this is verbatim. I'm just saying this is what I saw during my research. But some people were saying it along with when they were reviewing this that this was really a return to the classic sound of the 80s after you had Reborn and Murder by Pride, two albums I love, but it goes on to say that for several years the band had experimented with some different styles. Music was changing, all that kind of mess, kind of like on the album Reborn, and but that No More Hell to Pay was a deliberate attempt to reclaim that arena style mix of 80s featuring. You're going to hear more screams on this album going back to Saved by Love. Saved by Love, he's got it on there. You're going to have the twin guitar solos. You're going to have the heavier production, which was compared to more along the lines of Soldiers Under Command and To Hell with the Devil. Also on here, don't forget, if you look at the way they released these albums, they had Second Coming before this album, and prior to that, they had the covering. So they did a lot of their musical influences on the covering. So on this particular album, they leaned they leaned into the band's original metal influences, wanting to create that heavier, darker edge, kind of inspired by bands like we already said, Priest, Van Halen, Iron Maiden, rather than the pop stuff that they did. There's probably one that I would there's maybe one or two on here that I would consider more in the vein of rock versus heavy rock, but it still kind of to me stayed away from the pop rock world of Calling on You and Always There for You. And like you already said, lyrically, the message, the album's title and theme can be seen as a wake up call, which we can get into. And then they had another cover on here, Jesus is Just All Right, which we'll talk about when we get to that song. But just some things to think about as we jump in to No More Hell to Pay and start ranking these songs because they just went back to me. It was like defining what was coming for the band over the past 12 to 13 years on every release.
Yeah, dude. No, this was like a as I was listening to this, I was like, yeah, this is, and I hate to use the F word with Stryper, but this was back to the back to the day. It was heavy, it had those hard riffs, but the more I listened to it like 2 or 3 times over the past few days, but the lyrics were like, oh, these these are old school Stryper lyrics. That to me was like, I I mean, and I love the riffs. I love the harmonies and all that stuff, but there was a lot going on here, more so than I guess I thought about. I guess, but yeah, a lot of these songs, Legacy, that song to me, it hit me in the heart. So I'm just there's a lot of stuff going on.
And speaking of
Lyrical,
legacy, here it is right here. You got
I
the
mean,
scream right there at the beginning. And to me, this song, and I was never a Priest fan, but just the metal at the beginning and the way they come into this song with those lyrics, just like we built an empire. It's just
built this thing. The feeling of this song is it's pretty cool because all right, we built this thing. So what happens when we die? Looking at Elon Musk or Bill Gates, whoever. But it's like that song to me, like I don't know why it just hit me today, and I'm just it was like y'all wrote that song how long ago? And it's
13 years ago.
yeah, I'm just saying it's there's a lot going on this list. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at it now. I love the opening riff of Revelation. I mean, there's just I I kind of forgot how much I like water into wine is again lyrically. It's like, okay, it kind of like parallels all the stuff that Jesus did.
Yeah, exactly. Before we let's do this if you want to. Let's go ahead and start ranking them, and we can get into our descriptions of the songs as we rank them. And because we're as always, we're 45 minutes in and now we're just getting to the ranking of the albums. But we've been talking about the album for the past 15, 20 minutes though. But so no more hell to pay. What was number 12 for you on this album?
That would be Sticks and Stones. I don't hate it, but again, as I was listening to this record in entirety, I kind of like every song on this record. So, like we always say, they gotta fall somewhere. I just, I don't know. I hate the title, first of all, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. Falls at the bottom of the list. I don't know how else to say it. It's not a horrible song, but it's just not not my favorite. So.
Yeah, for me, this one is not at the top of my list. This one, when I get to it, it kind of falls in the middle. I've always liked it, and I think one of the things that I liked it before, I talked about it on a previous episode, was the fact that there was this song lyrically spoke to me at a time when I was going through some stuff, so it just kind of stuck in my heart for that reason. So it's kind of ranked a little bit higher than what you have it. Again, not at the top of my list, but it's not number 12. I tell you, I'm looking at my list now and I'm like, what would I change? What would be different? I don't know. I don't like my list this morning. But of course I did the list a week and a half ago, but as I sit there, but like you said, it's got to fall somewhere. Our song's got to fall somewhere. And I don't mind this song. I mean, I know some people find, like you said, about the title of the song, people find it a bit cliche, sticks and stones. But when it gets to the middle part of the song coming up, I've just always liked this song. It's again not number one for me, not at the bottom of the list either. So
Well,
more melodic.
I'll give you the middle. Yeah, I understand what you're saying with the middle of the song because it it gets better as it goes forward. But I don't know. Lyrically, this record has such a strong lyrical content. This good, but it's just not as good as everything else that's on this record.
Yeah. I'm sitting here now looking at my list and I'm like going, why did I put this one as number 12? Maybe it was, and I'm like trying to find what could I move to number 12 if I wanted to move something to number 12 real quickly. And I'm like, I don't want to rank any song on this album at number 12. I don't.
No, I get it. It was kind of funky for me. I listened to this probably 4 times. Two things popped out. It was like heavy, which signed me up. But there were so many heavy lyrics on this record. It's definitely gonna be moved up my chart in the new wave of Stryper because I know you have your new wave and I have my old wave and whatever. But but yeah, this record is strong, dude.
I'm
All
not going
right,
to rank anything 12th. Everything is a tie for first place for me today. And I'm not ranking anything 12. I forget it. I'm done.
so
There's
give
my
me.
list. Everything's number one. No, just kidding.
Well, give me something.
I know. I'm sitting here. I know if I move this one down,
See,
it's
I didn't have a list. I was just like looking at the record as a whole. So
Yeah.
give it something.
Give you something, give you okay, I'll give you this one. I'll give you this one. And again, this is not a knock on the song. And it because it's a very good song, but at this moment right now, 11:05 on December 27th, I'm gonna say this is probably what I would put as number 12, but this is not a knock on the song because this album for me was very, very hard to rank, but I'm gonna go with Te Amo.
Yeah, I almost called it out for you.
Because I mean, I love the opening, and again, it's not that I don't like the song. It's just somewhere's got to fall, and then tomorrow I might rank this one higher. But this is where I put this one at right now.
Move your needle to 2 minutes and 5 seconds, and we will be just fine. This song, yeah, it kind of rules.
Yeah, that right
What,
there.
what you get right there,
Yeah, it's, and that's the thing that this is why I'm saying it is so hard to rank this album. This is instead of number 12, this is 1.12. It's number 1.12. 1.12. There you go. That's how I'm ranking this album today. 1.12.
it's been hard, man. I mean, even with the opening track, so we always say Stryper has a banger opener and a banger closer. When I was listening to Revelation, that was like, oh man, this song it's a banger. And
It's
then,
funny that oh, go ahead.
no, it's finished.
No, it's funny that you mentioned that about Revelation because I remember when I was getting ready to sit down and do this, I thought Revelation probably would have ended up lower on my list than it did. But when I listened to the album in its entirety, again, like we normally do, I was like, this song is really good. And I had a hard time, like I said, I'm gonna say this over and over again. I had a hard time with this album, ranking it.
Well, I didn't have a hard time with the record as a whole
No, I
because
didn't.
this thing is it's a banger from front to back. And like I say, the only thing, gosh, there's one I had to talk about. Saved by Love. Holy crap. That song is insane.
Yeah. That
I-
I'll tell you where Saved by Love ends up for me a little later on, but that song is insane, like you just said. So
there's so much going on. I mean, when I'm listening to a piece of music, I'm just like, all right, this and this and this and this. And Mike's vocals, I mean, holy he is all over the place. And I don't know. It was just one of those things where I was just like, you got to be joking me, because I'm making my notes and whatever.
so what would you
But
say number 11 would be on your
ooh, another and probably sympathy. But again, it's like I had a really hard problem making this list. And again, it was kind of fun because I went back to the house and was just watching stuff. But all the songs on this, I think all the songs on this record are good.
yeah. Because this particular one is one that they did do a video for.
Yeah.
And you can find it on YouTube. And I didn't say this at the beginning, but this album was Michael, Robert, Oz, and Tim. So the original 4 members were in on this album. So I've got this one ranked maybe a couple of songs higher than you do. And again, this is probably my next song is probably not going to be a popular choice for number 11. but it's different. It's a fantastic spin on this particular song. But number 11, I went with is this one right here. I love it. I love the cover, but I put it down.
I love this song.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying I hate this song because it's number 11. I'm saying this is just where it falls.
It's a perfect Stryper cover.
Yeah. This was.
Well, you're back and I did a little bit of research on this song. It was originally released in 1966.
Yeah, because it says it's a cover of the Arthur Reed Reynolds.
Right.
Made famous by the Doobie Brothers, because most people know the Doobie Brothers version.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I first experienced this song was the Doobie Brothers. But yeah, I mean it's been covered by everybody, but yeah, it originated in 1966. Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because when you said 1966 earlier, I didn't do the research on it like you did. I was just like, no, I thought it was the 70s. And then I was like, oh yeah, there was somebody before the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah. Sir? Gone now? All right, cool. Yeah, when I first heard this was definitely Doobie Brothers, but this is a perfect Stryper cover.
Yeah.
It's got it's got the harmonies, it's got the guitar work. I mean, it's
See, I love this part of the song coming up right here.
The swing part, yes.
Yeah. They did like you said, they did a fantastic cover of this album, and it's a perfect cover. It's a perfect song to cover for this band, but when I was ranking them, it came in at number 11 for me.
Well, this is one of my favorite covers.
I would have loved to have seen this song on the band on the album, the covering. That would have been great, but I think it.
You know what? That's a great point. I don't know why the heck they wouldn't put it on. Interesting.
But no, it's definitely
that swing for me. I love that swing right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a fantastic song, but I got to put them somewhere. And some of the other albums that we have ranked, it's been a little bit easier for me, even though I've liked songs. I've liked all the songs, but when I going through this one, I was just like, I didn't realize, like you said, it was going to be this hard, but it was. What came in at number 10 for you?
Well, for me, we're talking about the record as a whole. I didn't forget, but it was just like, wait, this record is heavy.
Yeah.
And the lyrics are heavy. It was that interesting. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna put Revelation. Because I don't know where else to put it. Revelation. Because I love the opening riff. Because that's just like, it's got a soul to it. And the lyrics are like really cool, so I just.
Yeah, I will say this. I will say this about this song. Like I told you earlier, when I hear this song, I feel as it progresses, it gets better and better and better and better as this song progresses, because it kind of starts off here, not that it's a slow song, but everything seems to be moving a little bit slower. Then you get later in the song, like if I just skip ahead, I love the guitar going through the song here, and it becomes a little bit heavier than I thought was going to be the song itself, but it just, I don't know.
the back end of the song, yeah, it kicks up.
And so I don't have it ranked as number one, but at the same time, I feel that it progresses throughout.
Yeah.
Because when I went back and listened to this one, I was like, I actually like this one more than I remember liking. It's kind of where I landed with this song.
No, I can totally. Yeah, there's a few songs on this record that start slow and then figure out what they're doing at the end. I mean, yeah, I don't actually have that in my notes. I have that on Sticks and Stones. It starts out slow and stick.
Yeah, and so for me, I had this song rated at number 10 as well. This is where this is where this song fell in for me. So we finally have one that lands at the same way.
Nice. All right. Goodness gracious.
But I'll go ahead and give you my number 9.
Yes, please.
My number 9 from this album for me, and I love this song. I love the lyrics on it. You've already talked about it earlier, but it's Water into Wine.
It's so good, dude, because we we talk about this freaking band all the time, every day, every week. We talk about this band, but it's like it's also it's not that they're so solid musically, but a song like this, like we're still talking about Jesus, and we're talking about the things, talking about all the things. It's just like frustrating frustrates me a little bit because, like, oh, you like Stryper? Cool. A song like this, it kind of brings all the stuff to. I'm not sure how to pull the words together.
But I love that one part that they just played though, where it's the harmonies or the background vocals. It's Michael singing, and then it's the background, and then they come out. I just think that just flowed so well in this song, the way that they did it. And like you said, I mean, who else turned water into wine? You know what the song is going to be about before you even play it.
But it's not even the water into wine. I mean, they're
Yeah,
they're telling stories throughout the entire song, which is really, I don't know. I don't know. It's Rocky talking about, and then like when you're talking to your friends that don't listen to this stuff, it's like, yeah, okay, cool, but if you're listening to the song, they're literally kind of rolling through the miracles.
yeah. I mean, the whole chorus on this, I just pulled it up. So if people haven't heard this song before, the chorus is turned water into wine, made the blind man see, cast devils out into swine, and then what did he ultimately came to do? He came to set you free. The road to hell is wide, but heaven's narrow. Will we stop trying to hide or be like Pharaoh? It's just,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. The storytelling is awesome.
and I started going into the second verse there. I didn't mean to do that, but the whole thing, it goes back to, you think about soldiers when they're doing those lyrics that are saying, hey, we talked about this early on, come join us, be a part, there's an open invitation, just accept, receive, and believe. And it goes back to this particular album, they're saying the same thing in a sense. He's come to set you free. So this to me is a typical Stryper lyric when it comes to what they stand for, who they follow, and what they believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you just said, it's a typical Striper lyric. But yeah, it's funky. That song to me is like, I just love it because it kind of just walks through some, biblical things that Jesus did. I'm just that's really cool. And it's like, when I talk to some of my friends are like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, what did you have at number 9?
Let's see. Number 9. Beatles reference for all you. Man, I love the one, and I hate that it's kind of in the middle of my list, but I love the vocals and the chorus. So, and it's a great opening riff.
To me, when I heard, I'll tell you this song wasn't number 9 for me. It was number 8. So this would be my number 8 selection. But when I heard this song, this ultimately became, at the time, because one of my favorite ballads by them is This I Pray, but at the time, this became one of my favorite ballads by them because just the way that it flowed, the way that it's just really, again, to me in this particular song, I don't feel like you have that, whether this is God or my wife, girlfriend. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. So, but I think
Very
we talked.
straightforward.
I think we I think we talked about this song when we did our top 5 ballads. But to me, I love this ballad. It was one of my favorites by them when I heard it. I think it topped, like honestly, it topped a couple of the other ones from back in the day when it came out.
Well, I think we were probably sick of all the other ballads.
Well, we had heard them so much in our lives.
I love chorus vocals. I can't see
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's getting ready to come up right now.
I mean, I love that right there. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's just, I don't know, there's just something. It's not my favorite song, but we're sitting here dissecting this thing. I gotta put it somewhere. So
Yeah, and I have to say, I like where this song fell on the album itself because you have this song, and neither one of us have ranked Legacy yet, but you have this song, it moves into Legacy. So you have their ballad, which follows into one of their heavier driver songs, lyrically and musically on this. I liked where it fell on the album as well.
yeah, you're right. I can get with that opinion. Yeah, I mean, sequencing is a thing. So
What did you have at number 8? Because I had this song at number 8.
really,
Yeah,
you already did water into wine.
I did. You didn't.
Okay, so that's probably that's mine.
Your water? Okay.
So
Yeah, because I ranked that.
water into wine. Legacy's up there.
Yeah, because you had the one at number 9. I had it at number 8. I had Water into Wine at number 9, and you have that at number 8. So let's transition into number 7 then. What's your 7th song on No More Hell to Pay? Well,
I didn't put these into like a precise list, but I definitely do have opinions. I think.
I'll say my number 7. I'll go ahead and say it. Since you've already talked about the song, so I don't need to dive deep into the song on my end. It's Sticks and Stones. That is what ended up at number 7 for me. Again, one of my there's some history for me on that song, but I love it. I love the middle portion of the song, but that's where Sticks and Stones fell for me. Number 7 for you. Did you come up with a choice yet? Are you still debating?
No,
Because this album is so hard.
it really is hard. I'm glad that you put sticks. Yes, the middle piece of Sticks and Stones is really good. Yeah, I'll go. My next pick is Renewed. because it reminded me of like early '80s Iron Maiden. But but the lyrics, dude, the lyrics throughout this record are pretty strong. And the guitar work on the song is really reminds me of some Iron Maiden. You got some rhythm, and then you have like some over the top rhythm stuff going on. And then Mike, of course, Mike's vocals or Mike's vocals.
Yeah, his vocals on this entire album, we talk about it all the time. They're just they were just spot on. There
So
wasn't
what is this soaring? Give me a
I feel
break.
like this is what I feel like when they did this album. After doing Reborn, after doing Murder by Pride and doing Covering and Second Coming, this was like a not trying to, no pun intended, but this band was renewed at this time. I feel like this was even though they had gotten back together, they'd been back together for about 8 years at this point, that this was kind of like the beginning of a new direction when they put out albums. This was their, I think Second Coming was a Frontiers album. I'd have to go back and look, but I believe this was their first full-length new material on Frontier. So they've been with Frontiers, for the past 13 years or so. But to me, this was just a beginning of a new start for them, even though they hiccuped a few years later with the transition from Tim to Perry. But they just kind of said, this is who we are and this is the direction we're going in.
I don't think you're wrong. I think this was the first album that they were like, all right, we're back to original Stryper. And this record was the one that, and I was like, all right, we're not 80s Stryper, but we are back to our kind of original bones. At least that's what I feel like. I don't know.
I would agree with you, because you think about Yellow and Black Attack, you think about Soldiers, then you think about To Hell with the Devil, their multi-platinum album. You had hits that were geared towards MTV. But this album, yes, you have a couple of the more rockish songs like Sticks and Stones and a couple of others, but I feel that this is getting back more into their roots of heavier stuff. I mean, because you think about to Hell with the Devil or In God We Trust, typically number 5 and number 10 were their heaviest songs on that album. The Writings on the Wall and The Rain and More Than a Man and The Way. And of course you opened up with their title track, but all the other stuff in between, kind of MTV, kind of geared towards that sound. You had your ballads, you had Free, you had Always There For You. I feel like now it's transitioned to more, hey, we're going to do more heavier stuff than we're going to do lighter stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this is a kind of a transition period, because they were doing, like you just said, all the MTV BS. It's like, all right, we're gonna do the pop rock. But yeah, this record to me, it was like, all right, F it, we're gonna be back to our kind of our roots. I mean, because this whole record is heavy as writing on this is that, and to me, that's the thing that is the hardest part. It's like when you're listening to a record, when you get to the point where you have to think about the lyrics, and and dude, I'm a moron, but I love listening to the music, but if you talk to my wife, she's more listening to the lyrics. So this to me was like a beautiful medley of this thing is hard, but it has great lyrics.
Yeah, it blends together really well because I kind of fall on, and just FYI, since we're talking about this song, number 6 for me was Renewed. So that's where that song fell into the list for me. So, but when I think about what you just said, yes, music, because I've always been kind of a mixture of both. I'm listening to the music, I'm also listening to the lyrics. And so this blends really well both across the board, like you just said.
My wife and I fight a lot about lyrics versus music, even if we're talking about Creed. It's like, hey, listen to Bullets. She's like, I hate that song. It's like, well, whatever. The music's pretty cool, but yeah, she's like, I hate the lyrics. I was like, all right, cool. So, golly, man, I just,
What you
like,
gonna put at number 6 now?
can we talk about Saved by the Live yet?
We That is not on your list yet.
All right, that song is insane. There is a lot. There's a lot going on, especially with Mike. Mike is going nuts on this song. The lyrics are awesome, but I feel like he's on like cocaine or something. Which I know he's not. I'm just saying there's just a lot going on. This sounds for me like a Jesus Priest song.
Yeah, that this song, especially this, the
I
way
mean,
he gets into this "Saved by Love" just has that gritty
yeah, like
scream.
the verse, it's like, yeah, it's Rob Halford. It's like,
Yeah, so we
yeah,
have
there's
5
just a
left.
lot, there's just a lot going on here. Again, lyrically, there's
Yeah, there is.
he's doing a lot right here. So
Yeah,
I feel like every song on this record is just so busy, and I'm good with that. But yeah, it's just there's a lot going on. Here's another thing. God, I gotta shout this guy out. Hold on.
see, I love this. I don't know if you call this bridge or whatever, this whole part where he's singing right now, but I've always loved this part of the song where he comes back in, and then he really gets into the "Saved by Love" here because he's going to hit
Yeah,
one in just a moment.
yeah. So you're right.
So I've got this one ranked a little bit higher than
I just can't. This song to me is just there's so much going on right here, and I just love stuff like, come on.
and in this album you're getting back to a little bit more of the signature Michael Sweet screams from Stryper albums that we were used to on back in the 80s.
He was on fire on that song. It's just the normal Michael Sweet thing is like, okay, we get that and everything, but man, he went three octaves
Yeah.
in that song, and I'm just like, well, what? Why would I not expect anything else? And he can do that whenever he wants.
And actually, too, I think it was Legacy earlier that I was talking about that had more of a, that I felt like had a Priest vibe to it. But we'll get to that song because neither one of us have picked that song yet. But while you're looking that up, I'll go ahead and jump to my number 5. My
Yeah,
number
go ahead.
5, and again, it's got to fall somewhere. But number 5 to me is No More Hell to Pay.
This is one for me where I couldn't figure out how to place it.
Yeah, and this is another one they have a video for. If you haven't seen it before, you can go check it out on YouTube. But it's, to me, I mean, fifth sounds low for the title track of an album, but that just tells you how tough this album is again.
Well, it sounds like it's different.
It's just, and the thing I liked about this one was just the lyrics. I mean, especially coming up here, I'm lifting up the name that'll shine in the light of heaven's brighter day. And he goes on to saying it, I'm not going to be ashamed. And if the dawn reveals the end of days, I'll follow you to there's no more hell to pay. Like again, you open up this album of Revelation, then you add this song to it. Again, throws in an end of days reference to it, throws in I'm gonna follow you no matter what. And then just going through. We're in the Christmas week. Starts off the second verse with you've given me a gift I won't deny. You're offering a better world to come. It just talks about not only, it's just talking about now, but it's also talking about the afterlife. You know, what happens when we die, and you've given me this gift. And it's just, to me, lyrically, this one just fits really good, and it's a good title track, but there's a few more that I like than this one.
This one, like I say, this one to me sounds like it should be on No More Hell to Pay. And I'm not sure why. It just has
It should or shouldn't be on No More Hell to Pay.
It should be. It has that same kind of just chunk. And I don't hate the song, but it just has a different vibe to it. And whatever. I mean, I'm just some dude talking on a podcast, but it does sound to me like it should be on a different record.
Got it. So it should be on a different record. Okay, gotcha.
I don't hate the song.
No, neither do I. I think it's a great song. I mean, based on what you just said, would you put this one at number 5, or do you think you'd have this a little bit higher on your chart?
I'd probably have it a little bit higher.
Okay. What would you come in at number 5 then? I've kept up with what you've done, so I'll tell you if you've already chosen it.
Sympathy.
You did that one.
Renewed.
You did that one. I'll tell you what you have left.
What do I have left?
Okay, so let me go through. So you did Sticks and Stones, Sympathy, Revelation, The One, Water into Wine.
What? Are you been Saved by Love?
Saved by Love was number 6. So you've got No More Hell to Pay.
We haven't done Te Amo yet.
Yes. Okay. So Te Amo, that's where you're going to fall. It's number 5, Te Amo.
What a fun song.
Yeah, that one was my number 12, but
I love that. I mean, I really love that song. Because it's just got that tempo is just ticking. And I will say, overall, my boy Tim Gaines is picking it on this record. All the bass lines on this are just I was just loving it, listening to it this morning.
This is a fun song. Just kind of, at the time I was listening to it, I put it at number 12.
Number 12? Jesus.
Yeah, I know. But I will tell you the songs you have not chosen yet. You haven't chosen Jesus Is Just All Right, Legacy, Marching into Battle, and No More Hell to Pay. So those are the ones that you have left. Because my number four ended up being this one, Marching into Battle.
See, this song is like, I was watching this, there's a live video.
Didn't they do this at the Whiskey?
Yes. So I watched this at the Whiskey earlier this morning. Like, this is like, just punch you up a little bit. So yeah, it was fun watching this morning.
Yeah, if you listen to this album, not the whole album, but this has got some end times theme to it because you have Revelation, you have No More Hell to Pay, and then you have Marching into Battle. I saw the heavens open up. I saw the heavens open, and behold, a white horse. The one that was sitting upon him was called Faithful and True. His eyes were like two burning flames, on his head a gold crown. He wore a vesture of blood with a name nobody knew. Marching into battle, out of his mouth came a sword. He used to smite the nations. I mean, this is a pretty. You think about this song,
There's a lot going on here.
with lyrically end times kind of stuff happening in with this. You can consider it a, I don't want to say a darker song, but when you think about out of his mouth came a sword and he used it to smite the nations, that's not stuff everybody wants to hear.
Well, it's not a dark song. It's just saying what's in the book. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I guess what I was saying is some people might consider it a dark song because what I mean by that is you always hear, and I'm not trying to get theological, philosophical when I say this, but the reason I say people could interpret it a more dark song because people always want to say Jesus is love, God is love, this is, and all this other kind of stuff. But we also forget the judgment. We forget Revelation. We forget the judgment that God has. And the beast and false prophet were bound and cast into the sea, their followers slain by Almighty. We forget that part of God's character. So that's why I'm thinking people that, again, forgive me for saying this, don't take offense to this, but if you're skipping through a field of wild flowers, always singing God is love, and you forget the back end of the book and you forget what happened in the first part of the book, that's why I said this song could be dark to some people because, what? I thought God was love. And they hear this type of song and they go, that's not the God I know. Well, read the book, you'll find out. Yes, it is.
read the book. One of the reasons that I love my church is that everything is like, read the book. If it's not in the book, I'm not going to tell you. So yeah, I mean it's one of the reasons why we love these guys. It's like it's in the book.
That's what they stick to. That is crazy right here. The marching and into battle as he's hitting that is just, we were watching something last night. It wasn't Stryper, but we were watching something else. And it was a band from the 80s that was doing a song like this year. And my wife was sitting there going, he looks like he's about to pass out singing it. And because he didn't have the lungs and the voice that Michael Sweet has, but hearing him sing this, again, albeit 12 years ago, he's still doing it on recent albums. So you can't say that I was just in, but when he hits those notes and he can carry them on, that's just crazy stuff to me.
Well, I think there's a few dudes that keep because their voice is their instruments.
Yeah.
I think a few, because I was watching, it was Queensrÿche. So you got Jeff Tate, who's a professionally trained vocalist, and you got dudes like Michael Sweet, and it's like they take Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, another example. They take care of their instrument. It's really cool when you can see dudes that have been doing it for all the time and still able to do it. So
Unlike some of the bands that we've talked about who have not taken care of their instrument and have not kept it strong, and it's like, what are you saying up on stage? It sounds like you're making up new lyrics as you go along because your voice sucks.
well, when you hit like 60, 70 years old, I mean, whatever, it's if you have been taking care of your stuff, then cool. If you haven't, then you get the results that you get. So
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, and I'm not saying, and I'm not saying too, those people that are in their 60s now, which Michael Sweet is one of them, is going to be able to do exactly what he did in his 20s. But you take care of it, you're going to be able to do a heck of a lot more than people not taking care of their voice. And you're going to be able to continue to put out great sounding stuff. And part of it, that's, I read somewhere this week, I don't know if it was true or not, but it said something like Motley Crue was done. They've announced they're done making new music, and it's just like, well, if you're done making new music, you might as well go ahead and retire for good. And part of when I read that, it made me think: Are they saying that because they know he doesn't have the chops like he used to back in the '80s? And that's evident when you see it when you see them on tour.
Oh, it's definitely evident right now on tour because yeah, we already talked about this,
Yeah,
but yeah, my wife actually sent me a text that Soundgarden has a new singer, and I'm like, okay, Taylor, God bless, I can never get her last name. She's in Pretty Reckless. She's the lead singer for the Pretty Reckless, but her and Chris Cornell had a bond, so she's now the new lead singer in Soundgarden. I'm just like, Soundgarden is like a band that hits me in the heart, and I'm just like, all right, is this chick gonna be able to bring the freight? Because I don't know, but I hope so.
yeah,
But it's like when Alice in Chains got a new lead singer. It's like it's one of my favorite bands of all time. So can you carry the weight? So it's I don't know. It's stuff like that is really funky for me. So I don't know.
but you have 4 songs left. Jesus is just all right. Legacy, marching into battle, and no more hell to pay.
I think the next one is gonna be No More Hell to Pay. And just like I say, they gotta go somewhere. But I really like this song. It's one of the heaviest songs on this record. I'm just like, if it's a heavier song, then I'm gonna stand by it. It was really hard to like put all this together because
Yeah,
I I
I
re-
think
I
that's a
re- I really love this whole record. Um, whole so it's hard to rank anything.
yeah, and I think that's been the theme of this album is that it was such a good album that it was definitely hard to put that in because you've already talked about this. You had this one ranked lower. I had this one ranked higher. I always like my number 3, I always like Sympathy. And I know we talked about that earlier on. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to divert back into that particular song. But I had number 3 as Sympathy, and you had that one ranked a little bit lower.
Well, we we always have different opinions.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We always do. Now, there's one song we both haven't ranked yet as you move into your number 3. So I'm kind of curious where you're going to rank this one. But again, you've got Jesus is just all right, legacy, and marching into battle.
Man, as much as I hate it, I'm gonna have to put Marching into Battle because it's a really cool song. I mean,
It is.
it's anthemic, and it's just it it sounds like a Stryper song.
And just the beat of it and just the
It's the same drum pattern from Battle Hymn of the Republic. So if you play those side by side, they're the same. But anyway, that really doesn't matter. I like this song a lot, but it's just the uh the drum pattern is like pretty much the same.
yeah. It is a good song. Now, here is something interesting about Marching into Battle. I'm pulling this up on a Classic Rock Revisited interview written by Jeb Wright. According to this interview, it says, "Are all of these songs new?" And he said, "All are new songs except for two. One, of course, is a cover of Jesus is Just All Right. And the other, Marching into Battle, I wrote when I was 16 years old."
Wow.
So, and he goes, and the interviewer went on to say, "Tell me about that." And according to the interview, it says it's a song that we always wanted to do, but it has a really odd riff and melody, and it never fit on to any other record. And Rob would always come in and say marching would be cool to pull out, and we would all say yeah, but it wouldn't fit, and we would put it back on the shelf. But this time it fit perfectly with the record and all of the other songs on the record. I get a kick out of it. It's kind of our new anthem. The lyrics are scary. They are right out of the book of Revelation, going back to talking about not just this song, but you've got the song Revelation on here. You've got a couple of other songs on here. And so it was just, so it's very interesting. We talk about this song, but he wrote this. So if this came out 13, Michael Sweet would have been 50 at that time. So he wrote this 30 some odd years earlier before they put it out on the album.
Wow, that's a good story, man.
And again, that's according to this interview, pulled off the internet. I'm assuming it's true. So don't take it to the bank, but that's what I pulled out on a Classic Rock Revisited interview.
Well, so you pulled it off classicrock.com?
ClassicRockRevisited.com/show_interview. But
I
so
well,
you
I
had,
well, I just remember covering uh the Battle of the Republic in our silly Stryker cover band when I was 16. But yeah, it's the same drum pattern. So yeah, it, it's weird that they chose to put those things together. I I really like the vocals on this song because it doesn't sound like just gang the whole time.
yeah.
Because it's not glory, glory, hallelujah the whole time. It's a better song. So yeah, not for nothing. Yeah, the drums are great and whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they did a better job of writing the song around throughout the drums and bass. So no, I dig this song.
So our number one, depending on what you put at number two, might be the same, but I'm going to go ahead and go with my number two because you've talked about this one a few songs ago, but my number two was Saved by Love. So that's where that song fell into. And what do you have? Is it going to be one we haven't picked, or is it going to be one that we've already picked?
I know what my two are. My two is definitely Jesus is just all right. Because I just love this song. I, I've always loved this song. so so
You know what's interesting now that you put this one at number two, our rankings fell pretty close together with the exception of Te Amo, Jesus, and Sticks and Stones.
okay.
So maybe one or two off, maybe a few off, but we were we were tracking pretty close for most of this album. And so with Jesus is just all right being number two for you, we both land at number one with this song right here. Legacy. This is the one we were talking about earlier, which I think has even more of a priest vibe to it than Saved by Love. Just the way they come in with the opening lyrics when he comes in singing it. It's just got this grit behind it, I think, that just makes it sound like like a just that kind of I don't know if you want to call it a growl, but just kind of a grit. We built an empire. Not that I can sing it well, but that's just kind of
Well, when I was listening to this yesterday and this morning and whatever, I mean, yeah, it has like it has a Judas Priest vibe to it, but the lyrics are just I felt this whole thing, and then what am I gonna do with it, and what's your legacy? And just the lyric just like hit me in the head this morning. I was just like, there's a lot going on in this song. And the riff is great, and then the lyrics actually make you think about stuff. It's like, yeah, I did this whole thing. So then I gotta die. So what's my legacy? And it just, I don't know. It just kind of made me think about some things this morning.
yeah, because it kind of goes back to what this some of the themes on this album are about. We've been talking about the end of days. We've been talking about judgment, but then when you come into this song, it's like we've built this. It just opens up. We've built this empire. We can't take it with us. That's just right, like we've been talking about. That's in the book. When you die, you're not taking a thing with you except what you've done and the acts and stuff that you and how you lived your life. And he goes into this like, but when we step beyond the other side, there will be nothing to hide. What's our legacy? So what has our character been like? What's our legacy that we're taking before it? What, because we can't, I can't take what I've done on this, all the accomplishments and everything like that. And it just kind of makes you like, to sit back and go, okay, what's it going to be like when I stand before God after I pass away?
That's a scary proposition. I'm sorry. I mean, when I think about that, I'm just like, all right, I got to stand before God and like tell him the cool things that I did.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it just goes in. Or are we in for a rough ride? Will we be humbled far beyond our pride, or are we in for a rough ride? It's like, so another thought-provoking lyric generated song, besides it being a heavy song. And that's what I love about the lyrics of this song. They fit so well musically with this song. It's just like, yeah, what is that legacy going to be that you leave behind? Not only will you have to stand before God for, but what's the legacy that you're leaving behind for your family besides, I left you this inheritance, if you leave an inheritance or anything like that? Are you going to be remembered as the are you going to be remembered as the loving, caring person? Or are you going to be remembered as a pain in the butt to people that you come into thought with as well? So,
Well, when I was thinking about it this morning, I'm not leaving a lot of money to my
yeah, I know. Same here. Same here.
so, but I do, or I was thinking about what are they going to think about me after I'm gone.
Exactly.
So I think it's kind of gonna be okay. But yeah, it's something you have to think about, right? It's like how your children gonna remember you, and so it was something that I thought about this morning. It's like, yeah, you're not getting $1 million, but maybe you'll think about me as a decent human being.
Well, I mean, you bring a point up because I can just hear it now where if you've had a parent or a grandparent pass away, you might say stuff like, yeah, they didn't leave me an inheritance money wise, but, and it's what comes after the but and how we talk about those people after the but. Because typically people always want to know, oh, did you get an inheritance or something? No, but not of wealth, but I did get an inheritance of love. I did get an inheritance of giving. of, what my family taught me or what my parents taught me, my grandparents taught me, those that are around me. It's always, what are our kids going to say after the but?
Yeah, first, yeah. Well, we're you and I can sit here and talk about mom and pop for hours as far as like an example of love and just all the all the good things. That's that's where we got our example from. So yeah, it's you hope that your children will kind of grab some of that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. If I think my children will grab onto some of that, but yeah, I mean, it's not about you getting an inheritance or whatever. It's like passing passing family values down to your children.
Yeah. That's one of the things. But again, go ahead.
Again, one quick thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to our cousin Edward. He is on version 2 of Mom's Fruitcake because he
Is he going to
absolutely
send us some?
when I talked to him yesterday, he was marinating the fruit. So we shall see. So for y'all that don't know, our grandmother has a phenomenal fruitcake that nobody can reproduce. So our cousin Ed is trying to get it together, and he is a legit scientist. So if anybody can get it together, it would be him. So he's on version 2 at this point.
If he can perfect it, because I know our parents have tried to perfect it and nobody's
I
been
did,
able to do it. So,
oh my god, it was. I tried it once and it was awful.
do you have the recipe for it? I know I have it somewhere around here.
And it's in the cookbook, in the church cookbook.
Okay. I've got to find that. I think I have one of those around here somewhere. I've got to find it. But no more hell to pay. No more hell to pay. I'll read your list back out to you because I tracked along with it. It's order from bottom to top. Now, again, as we've said throughout this entire episode, No More Hell to Pay was a very hard album to rank because everything on this to me, was just phenomenal. But you had Sticks and Stones, Sympathy, Revelation, The One, Water into Wine, Renewed, Saved by Love, Te Amo, No More Hell to Pay, Marching into Battle, Jesus is Just All Right, and Legacy. And my 12 going from 12 to 1, Te Amo, Jesus is Just All Right, Revelation, Water into Wine, The One, Sticks and Stones, Renewed, No More Hell to Pay, Marching into Battle, Sympathy, Saved by Love, and Legacy.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, this album kind of rules because, like I say, I've listened to it probably 4 times in the last 2 days. And I'm like, this is probably my favorite new. I know you and I do like new and old versions, but this thing was pretty kicking.
Yeah.
I had a really good time listening to it because there's no skippers and there's no ballad. There's really no ballads. So 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 for me, this was like, yeah, this is my record.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, I really love this album. And I think on some of the newer albums, I've always said Even the Devil Believes is probably my favorite from this. But now what I want to do in my own, just for my own fun, is I want to listen to this one and I want to listen to Even the Devil Believes, and I want to stack those two together because now when we talk about the newer stuff, it's getting it's getting a little bit hard to really pick out what might be your favorite one because again, we've said this so many times before, and after this, you've got No More Hell to Pay, Fallen, Goddamn Evil, Even the Devil Believes, The Final Battle, When We Were Kings, and then you'll have their new album coming out next year. That's 7 albums.
Lord,
That's going to be 7 albums in 13 years that they've put out. And you go back to the old stuff, there was only 5. I'm not counting the compilations, I'm not counting the covering, but then you throw in Reborn and Murder by Pride, that ends up being 9, but still, you got more stuff on the back end to judge than you do on the front end. And so every time they come out with a new album, for me, it's getting tougher and tougher to and I listen to even The Devil Believes quite a bit, but because there's 7 albums, you know, on this back end, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm trying to tie it all together here."
Well, no, you're not wrong. It's like the level of productivity has never been a thing with this band. Yeah, so we have more stuff on the back end than we have on the front end. So yeah, it's you gotta figure out. Well, you have to go back and listen to the new stuff. And most, I feel like most Stryper fans are like, kind of like me. They're on the back end and they're listening to like the first four, and I got that kind of stuff. And it's just like, at, at this point, we have more material on the back end than we do on the front end. So
And I was just gonna say, and I know I've said this many times before, this album, No More Hell to Pay, is the perfect example of why when I go into the Stryper catalog, I'm pulling out something new to listen to versus the old stuff. That's just been me since No More Hell to Pay has come out. I find myself again more. I've said this before. Out of every 4 times I listen to a Stryper album, it's usually 3 new, something from the '80s.
I think, yeah, I think I do. If I'm just like sitting around listening to Stryper, I feel like it's like a mix of soldiers and goddamn evil. And I don't know why. There's no reason or rhyme or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, at this point, we got more new stuff than old stuff. So it's if you are a Stryper fan, go listen to some new stuff if you haven't, because I tend to lean towards the old stuff, and I know that's just me being old. So so yeah, I mean, but then like we were just doing today, this record rules. It's heavy and the lyrics are just solid. So it shows that, when did this come out? 2013.
2013. Yep. November of
Good lord.
2013.
Yeah, so it's like they're still pumping stuff out. And God, just the level of content, even from Mike Stryper, all the stuff that he's doing is, it's it's ridiculous. And so, but yeah, go check it all out, because it's never not a good thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you think about it. Just to, I know we're a couple hours in now, but to say this, you've got the albums with Stryper. You have the greatest gift of all, which I didn't necessarily count in those as an album in 2013, but then you have since 2013, you've got I'm Not Your Suicide, Only to Rise, One Sided War, Unified, 10, a re release of Reborn Again, Evil and Divine with Sun Bomb, Heart and Sacrifice, Return to Light with Soul Driver. I'm looking to see, and that's just what I see on online really quick. So there is so much material from him. And we say that so much over the past 10 to 12 years, and it's still coming. We've got 2 albums coming out next year.
Right. Now the guy does not stop working. So yeah, it's it's really cool there, because everything that comes out, it's not bad.
No, no.
It's like if he came out with like just a clunker, then okay, maybe. But it's we say this all the time. Bar is high. He always kind of hits the bar. So it's just like, all right, well, it's a Michael Street Michael Sweet slash Stryper slash, but it's always going to be good because he just sets himself to a higher standard. I think, and if we do a Stryper podcast, so we're gonna blow a little bit of smoke, but he also does kind of hit bar artistically that we all can get behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with you on that. But if when we release this episode, we'll only have 2 days left because it'll come out Tuesday. So we'll have 2 days left of 2025. So if you listen before the end of the year, we hope you have a fantastic New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and we are excited about what's to come in the new year 2026 with Stryper and Michael Sweet. So as always, we're going to continue to pump these out all the time. So, but we hope you have a fantastic New Year's with your family, and don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in 2026.
Yes, like and subscribe. Love you guys. We love doing this, so
Yes,
I'm
we do.
excited about 20. Yeah,
All right. We'll see you then.
later, guys.